Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Chris Yee.
Today we're taking a look at Wingspan. I'm kidding.
Already.
I know. It's called Birdwatcher. And so what they did was they're like, hey, Wingspan hasn't made a South America expansion yet, so here's our chance to get these beautiful birds. And they are certainly pretty. The art, I want to call out special art. Lauren Helton did an amazing job illustrating this game.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Also, it's not Wingspan. It's called Birdwatcher, in case you were confused. This is a game where you are a stupid photographer. No, the book says it in this game.
Stupid?
No, it says
Tom Vassell,
there's a page here, Brief Guide to Ethical Birding and Bird Photography, and they basically say don't do anything that you do in this game. Because in this game, you run into the jungle to scare birds. You then take pictures of them, or you're using giant flash photography, I don't know why, in the jungle, and then you scare birds away, and then the book says you shouldn't do that. And I was like, all right, but in the game, go for it.
This is like early photography. I think the first player token is one of those like
Right, yeah.
kind of cameras.
Yeah, I think that's that way. I think the theme is put into this game to explain the mechanisms of why you need to get rid of a bird. Well, you know what? Let me show you.
Get out of here, birds!
How to play the game first, and then we'll be back. Each player has their own tree that they'll have in front of them. Underneath their tree is a photo journal. This is where you'll put birds that you take pictures of, and that's how you'll score at the end of the game. You're trying to collect birds of sets, so you can see if you have one of these birds that sure looks like a moth, the western parotia, you get 4, but if you have 3 of them, you'll get 14 points. And so there's many birds with various kind of point values. There's actually 10 main birds, and then in the deck there's also some, these are called rare hybrids. So this lonely little king, that's just worth 5 points. And there are imposter nestlings, which basically count as the card that's right before it in your photo journal. So they're sort of wilds. And then there's black sicklebills, which can be anywhere from 2 to 4 points. Anyway, you start with 4 of them in front of you. You start with 3 in the jungle. On a player's turn, they have 3 actions. 1, you can take a picture of a bird in your tree. That's pretty simple. You just startle it because you have a flash. So I'll be like, I'm taking a picture of the blue bird of paradise. You'll put that underneath in your journal, but then you have to scare another bird away to the clearing. Now there's 4 discard piles in the clearing, and as you put cards there, you always have to fill in empty spots, but other than that, you can kind of put cards wherever you want. You can also have a bird call. So you can take all the birds from one species from the clearing and from the jungle. Now, the game does have a rule that when you send a bird out like I just did, it's tapped. So that one I wouldn't be able to take back on the same turn. But let's say it was a different turn, I could take both of these as one of my actions. But you can only have 6 birds in your tree. Whenever a bird's taken from the jungle, it's replaced. You can also run into the jungle, and that will take these 3 birds here and put them in the clearing so that we can reveal new birds over here. You can also use a zoom lens. You can take a picture of a bird in someone else's tree. So if someone else wanted to take this bird from my tree, for example, they would take it, put it into their photo journal, but then they have to give me a bird, and I get one from the top of the deck at it. So I get 2 birds when someone takes one of mine. And then that takes 2 actions, by the way, out of your 3. Another thing that takes 2 actions are taking a publication. You can take one of these publications here and put it in your journal, just like a bird. Publications are going to give you, this one just gives 3 points. This one, 2 points for each complete set in your photo journal. 2 points for each identical bird in the preceding 4 pages of your journal. So these are going to not only provide you points at the end of the game, but you'll also notice there's little journal symbols on them. And at the very end of the game, whoever has the most of those gets 5, and whoever has the least loses 2. The last thing to keep in mind on are insects. Many birds, when you take a picture of them, show an insect on the bottom. You'll take that particular insect token. At the end of the game, you'll get points for the number of different insect tokens you take. You can also spend 2 tokens to get an extra action on your turn. Players are going to continue to go until one player has a certain number of cards underneath in their journal. So once that's down there, that's going to end the game. Everyone gets the last round. You add final points, and whoever has the most points in their journal is the winner. Before we go to the overview, I do want to have you just kind of quickly gaze at the beauty of these cards. They really are beautiful. The card quality is really nice. So I just like looking at these birds a lot. Gorgeous. Okay, so like A+ for me on the art. I really like the art in this game.
It's really pleasing, isn't it?
Yeah.
With one exception. They should have put some pictures on the publication cards. There's no pictures on them. They're boring as all get out.
But so are publications.
But in a
Fair.
Yeah, that is actually a hard comeback. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen the thing where someone's like, I'm trying to make my research papers easier to read, and he just writes like Harry Potter and the impact of taxation on the tomato vegetable
Right.
So, as a quick aside, I actually think publications to me are the least interesting part of the game.
Absolutely.
They take 2 actions to
Yeah.
take. They don't give that many points.
Oh.
You have to. Well, I mean, they can.
I think they're pretty powerful, actually.
Oh, really?
If you get them set
Yeah.
up at the right point.
Right. Yes.
Let me
If
show you
set
some
them up,
math.
You have to set them up and make sure that you're angry unpacking.
Tom is angry, man.
So if I get 4 blue birds of paradise, I get 20 points. That's 5 points per card.
Yes.
Most of these publication cards, it's hard to get 5 points from. This one, for example, 2 points for a complete set in your photo journal. So I have to get 4 of these and then a complete
yeah.
set. Or the one this one's just 3 points. This card is garbage. It's 3-point
It is,
card.
but it also gives you the books, and there's the book majority to balance it out. So it's less
but that's
points,
5
but it
points.
goes right. Which I mean, I don't know. My games were pretty close of this. That was making. I don't think these can be ignored.
I think
it's
these would
what
be
it is.
better if it was a single action. I just don't get why there are 2 actions to take them.
Because it takes a long time to make a publication, which is boring.
I'm talking about game mechanisms.
I'm talking about theme.
So, other than that, there's some interesting things. Take a bird, get an insect token.
Yeah.
You know, insect tokens are, so you sit there and think, what birds do I want? And the fact that you have to spend a bird to keep one is interesting. The fact that if you steal a bird from someone else, which sounds terrible, you're giving them 2 birds in response. So I'm like, please steal
Right,
from
yeah.
me. Also, it costs 2 actions, so it's almost never done.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless
you
there's
gotta
just-
really, you gotta really want that thing.
Right, it has to really complete your set. You know, you're getting towards the end of the game when another one might not come up, something like that. But I think what I really liked about that mechanism, though, is you don't really ever give them trash. Everything you give them can help, because there was multiple times in this game where it was like, I really want to take a picture of this bird, but I don't have another one to give up, or I don't have one in my tree that I want to give up, so therefore I don't want to take a picture right now because then I lose this great scoring opportunity. So I'm taking this set of 3 birds up here, just knowing I'm probably going to throw those birds away and use them as my giveaway birds. So
Which is weird theming now. You gotta admit that.
That is kind of odd, but I mean, but it is, I think that's interesting, that knowing that if they take yours, yes, oh dang it, you took that one I really want to take a picture of. That's okay. I got 2 in it, like 2 worst case scenario discards, so that I can take 2
Yes.
pictures. So I think that is an interesting balance there.
It's opportunity cost kind of just thrown into that little area in front of you, which is a good mechanism. Thematically, it is funny that you're like, come over here, little bird. Now buzz off! Click. But but I mean, the set collection is good. The bird art is very pleasing and stuff. I played this solo, right? And I think that the solo mode is pretty slick. You're not doing too much upkeep on the AI player's side of things. But I also found that if you're playing the solo, you're never going to out publication the AI opponent, because they basically will almost always take a publication every turn, or create a set of birds. So if they don't have a bunch of cards in front of them yet, they'll take a publication, then take birds. They don't have enough yet, take a publication, then take birds.
So you lose a lot.
No, I mean,
Well, if you lose a lot, that would discount your point that the publication.
No, you're just saying it takes sets of birds. I don't know.
yeah, no, I mean,
Making
I
stuff
find that it's a good solo mode. It's not. They have 6 different levels of challenge, which is just they start with more points. Basically.
Interesting.
I like that you play against a point value. You score up their side of things, but they're not too hard to run. But I found the publication I just didn't care about, because I was not going to outbook the AI. But yeah, I don't know. The idea of stealing a card from them but giving them more cards is I didn't end up doing it, because I found with the solo mode, it's really easy to just kind of get the cards that you want, or or wait until they're going to flush out the market and then refill it with stuff that you want.
Mm-hmm. I think the one mechanism, and I forget what it's called, there's one bird in there that only scores whoever has the majority, the black something.
The black.
The black sicklebill. The black
Yes.
sicklebill. It's only the majority, right? Or maybe that's
it gives
another
majority
bonus
points. I didn't mention it in
plus
the
the
review.
little
Sorry.
bit.
They also give a majority for whoever has the most.
Right, and so I think that that's the one that I felt was a little, I think, distracting to me. You know,
bit of a
it's
red herring.
A little red herring, yeah. Which in which you are trying to get the most of that one specific bird, but that detracts from taking away your other set collections and that kind of stuff. And trying to time that right was a little bit of the puzzle that I just felt was a little bit of more of a hiccup or a red herring. Wasn't as smoothly integrated as I liked.
I really like the theme of birds. When people say, I don't like Wingspan, I don't like the bird theme, I like it. I don't like going to look at birds because I get bored easily. But I like the idea of it. I like looking at birds and taking pictures of birds. So this theme is really cool for me. Mm-hmm. But this game is uber okay. My rating is a 6 because it is just a game about collecting sets, and I've seen that so many times. And it doesn't feel very interesting. I'm collecting sets. If I have 3 yellow birds, grab another one. And I just wait for it to show up. And the birds show up in different flocks and different things. And the publications I don't find interesting. The insects are a little interesting, but it's just so obvious. Collect different insects. If you happen to get duplicates, spend them for an extra action. I feel like this is a nice beginner game for a lot of people, and maybe that's good. Although there's a little bit of fiddliness to when you send a bird out, tapping it so you can't take it back. It's a gorgeous game, but it is really forgettable. I'll make the claim that in a year, no one will talk about this. I mean, it is no competitor to Wingspan, like not even close.
I'm also going to give this one a 6. I find that it's very okay. I like that novel mechanism of take a picture of a bird to get it, you have to discard another one, and that's kind of where the tension of the game really comes from.
Yeah, but I've seen that in other games before. There are things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's almost Race for the Galaxy-ish. Pay for a card by paying another card. But I do like the idea that you have to get them over there. But other than that, there's not a lot for this one that makes it stick out for me. That having been said, I only played it solo, but this is not a solo game that I would keep coming back to like I would for many other ones. But
I want to be clear, I didn't dislike it. I just was kind of like, nah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is I'll probably forget about it, and that's why it's kind of a 6. It's fun, it's good, nothing like actively terrible about it, but it was okay.
So 10 is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I felt very strongly otherwise. I think the biggest drawback of this game is it's going to get compared to Wingspan, and because that it's going to suffer. It's going to be, if I want to play a bird game, I'll just play Wingspan, I think is kind of what a lot of people are going to take away from it.
I've never heard anyone say that.
And
Do not rewind this video.
I feel completely opposite. Like, I would play this 10 times over Wingspan. I like this one a lot more. So I'm going to come in at an 8 for this, actually. I did find a couple of the mechanisms a little bit more forgettable, like the insects. I wasn't really, it was just, I happened to get an insect. In fact, I think I forgot about it twice and was like, oh, wait, hold on, I need to score that. I have these insects.
At least you can recount them at the end.
You can, right.
Yeah.
And then it's like I said, the black sicklebill.
No.
Whatever it was.
The boring bird. It's not
boring bird.
It's not as pretty as the other birds.
Right, I think. But I ended up using those a lot for the publications. And so because of the different publications, so it did kind of balance that out. So I thought that it had, with the variety of birds, the different ways they can score, yes, it's nothing that's really been done before, but with your 3 simple actions, do you take a picture, do you run into the jungle and kind of flush out the board, setting yourself up for those combos where you're taking a lot of birds because of you get all of the same kind. I really found that to be an interesting and like you said, kind of entry-level puzzle, and I really thought it was well balanced. So I very much enjoyed this one, better than Wingspan.
Well, there you go. That's the quote they'll put on the back of the box.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, there you go. That's Birdwatcher. Until next time, I'm Tom Vessel.
I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Chris Yee.
And it's called a black sicklebill.
Sicklebill.